What is good, everybody? It's Charles from Team COJ, fresh back from Nationals after, like, I think 17 hours of a drive there and 17 hours back. So we're back. Before I get into this video, I'm going to go quickly do some disclaimers and go through some quick stuff about this list, because I'll forget it, and then I've already done this like a few times. I'll forget it, then I have to go back and redo the whole video. But this is not the list I took to the main event, but this is the list that I ended up coming up with after the main event. I'll put the list I took to the main event up here on the screen so you guys can quickly pause and check it out. But for the most part, it changed after a lot of bad things that happened in the main event. Like Beacon of the World Chalice, I saw that card almost 5 to 6 times throughout the entire 6 rounds I played in, which I played 6 rounds, which I went 3-3, and I ended up dropping because I didn't want to. 2 of my losses, I definitely could have won, which is really upsetting to myself, just me not reading cards, and me being... One loss was me not reading cards, and one was me just rushing in the anxiety of time coming up, that I made a horrible misplay that I could have done differently and won. Without those there, we'll just go ahead and jump into my matchups real quick. My round, I believe I went against Sprite, Snake Eyes, Kashtira, Snake Eyes, Fiendsmith YuGiOh, and then Tenpai. And my losses were to Snake Eyes, and Tenpai. Tenpai is rough, man. You literally sit across the table from them and they go, "Hey, motherfucker! Click clack!" And then they just one punch you. And they literally have that. The deck's kind of absurd in a way, and like I'm not going to make this a whole video to rant about like all these things, but essentially in the format right now, it's just a bad time. Everyone acknowledges, everyone knows it. Snake Eyes is a plague. The Fiendsmith card should not be that generic. Engraver should not do the 3 things that it does. That's wild that a card like that exists, that it can do 3 things without being restricting or anything. And then Snake Eyes have always been Snake Eyes, man. They have multiple 1-card combos. It doesn't matter if you beat them down, whittle them down. Their first card they're going to top deck is going to be Ash, and then they just go combo and kill you anyway because they can do that. And then outside of that, man, like I said, my 3 losses, 2 I definitely could have won. 1 I just got my buns buttered. There is no way I can like sugarcoat it, and it's just, it is what it is. Essentially after the main event, we went back to the hotel room and we sat down. And I looked at things, and I ended up changing out a few things, looked at my matches throughout the whole 6 rounds and everything like that, and decided to make some changes, and I'm pretty happy with them. I took it to regional flights the next day. However, I wasn't able to win a regional flight, sadly, but I came close twice. I think my ending record for the regional flights was 6-3, which is really good because in those regional flights, I got to play a lot of meta, a lot of rogue. I ended up losing essentially to a Voiceless Voice, Snake Eyes, and then I ended up beating like Sprite, Snake Eyes, Fiendsmith, YuGiOh. And when I'm saying Snake Eyes, I'm just incorporating the Fiendsmith stuff in there, just so you know. But anyway, huge shout out to all my fans and stuff who came up and saw me and talked to me. You guys are the real MVPs, and this is why I still have the drive to make content and do stuff, is because of you guys. But anyway, we're going to jump to the deck list, and I'm not trying to make this like a 30-minute video, so I'm going to run through it all as much as I can. So quickly, if you guys have not already, ding that notification bell, hit that subscribe button. If you guys want to check out Twitch, now that Nationals is done, I plan to be streaming a lot more. After this first week of getting back to work, I think work has me doing like 5 straight days and stuff like that, so hopefully we'll be able to get back into streaming within the next week after we recover from the Nationals. So I will show you my main extra inside. And yeah, so again, here we go. 1 of each of the Infernoble names. If you guys are part of the channel, you guys probably know what these cards do, so I'm not going to go in detail. Renault is still the best Infernoble card in my opinion. And yeah, not much more can be said. I don't like playing one of names. I don't feel like Infernobles when you're only playing one of them, but you got to adapt and you got to change, and you just have to cut space for non-engine, because we're into a format now, which like this deck, sadly, dude, I'm not even gonna lie, like this deck along with some other really good decks just can't compete with the 20+ hand trap strategy, because we don't have the space for 20+ hand traps. So we just kind of fall in that line of where it's like we try to open 1 to 2 hand traps, and then 3 card combos, 2 card combos, 1 card combo, etc. That way, and hope that we have extenders to play through it. Like I said, it's just the way it is until Konami addresses Snake Eyes. Decks like this, who can only have like 12 to 15 non-engine spots, are just going to struggle. But anyway, here's all the names. They're all pretty good. They're all insane. Like I said, Renault is definitely the best one. Moving on to the best normal summon, in my opinion, still in the deck, is still Uppercutter and the 1 Spar. This is still a full 1-card combo for the deck. And again, 1-card combos, what makes any combo deck good is by having 1-card combos. And that means that the 1-card combo gets stopped. You depend on the rest of your hand to push through it, because this 1 card will get you your full combo. Now, unlike Snake Eyes, where every card's a 1-card combo and we have multiple 1-card combos, this is pretty much our only 1-card combo, and then every other combo is 2 cards, which is still nice when you think in terms of combo decks. You put 2 cards in, get 3, 4, or 5 disruptions out. So Spar is still not even the worst card to see, and that's what this new list is different than the list that I took to the main event, is that this Spar, every card in this deck functions with Renault, and that's what I wanted. There was too many times throughout the entire event. Opening Beckoned 5 to 6 times was too much, and having Beckoned but not being able to get a Fire Warrior off because it conflicted with being an Earth Warrior was too much. And that, and I'll show you guys what that type of confliction is. So that's it for the Battle Boxers. Moving on to just the Fire Warriors, we have 1 Flint Lady, 1 Gearfried, and 1 Vanquish Soul Raisin. So Raisin in here, some of you have, if you guys have seen Rudy Torres and Franco also played the Vanquish Soul package, which you can play an extensive one, whether it be like a target to search off Raisin, whatever you want. I chose just to do the simple E-Tally strategy where you play 3 E-Tally or 3 Stake Your Soul and the 1 Raisin. Now, there was a few times, man, where I kind of wish I would have played Mad Love. So, like, when I summoned Raisin, I could have searched Mad Love, and then since you revealed a fire to summon the Raisin, you had a fire and dark to blow a column. That would have been really cool, but I decided not to incorporate. What's the point of cutting out the Beckon brick and then just adding in another one, right? That's pretty much what it is. Worst case scenario, if you see this card, as long as you have access to either Renault or the ability to get access to Oliver, you have combo. And before someone's like, well, you're only playing the 2 tuners, how do you, like, that's not enough? Well, my friends, you play like almost 9 copies of each of them when you get to the spells and stuff, so you do have the way to get to the tuners pretty consistently. Raisin, like I said, best case, normal summon it, special combo. Best case scenario, you're summoning it off of Stake Your Soul, either without committing your normal summon, or through Disruption, you're able to summon it out. Especially later on, if you get nibbed, you can just summon out this card and do some things with it. And best case scenario with it is, so you're going to be like, well, you're playing Stake Your Soul. Well, that means multiple Stake Your Souls are dead in your deck, but not correct, actually. With Malgus, you're able to shuffle back Raisin, so Stake Your Soul is always alive. The only time this card really does not shine is when you happen to open Stake Your Soul with it, in which case you just normal it, do your combo, and then shuffle it back with the Malgus, and then you just reveal a fighter, summon it back out from the deck that way. But that is it for the Fire Warriors, just the Fire Warrior team. Pretty, again, not too shabby. There's nothing I really changed. Flint Lady is just too good to like have, because you want to do like Flint Lady plus like get access to Uppercutter to do the combo and stuff like that. Flint Lady is really good with like Durandal in that way, because you can like normal Flint, get access to Durandal, add Uppercutter, send off Flint Lady, summon Uppercutter, combo that way forward. For the last monster, man, we're on to 3 Ash. So part of me in the very early concepts was cutting all of my hand traps down to 1 and playing Cross Out. And that was good until like I started opening my 1-of targets with Cross Out, and I was like, well, this is just garbage. And the way my luck has been going with 1-ofs, I was like, I'm always going to see it. I'm going to open Cross Out plus Ash, and then get Ash Blossom and the can't combo, right? So I decided to go through the route which I've noticed a lot of players with Cross Out have been doing, where they just max out on all the hand traps and they play Cross Out, because they can at least cross out 1, they have 1, they cross out 1, they have 1 in their hand. It's still Disruption and still allows your combo to go through. So 3 Ash. And again, Ash plus like Museum or Ash Stake Your Soul plus like any of the cards to get to Durandal is still combo, and it's like a 2.5 card combo, because you just have to have the fire to reveal Ash's fire, so it contributes to getting to Raisin, which is a level 4 Fire Warrior, to get out. Moving on to the spells, 3 Museum. I arguably sided this card out quite a bit, but I think 3 is correct, because if you see 1 in your opening hand, you can just normally fling it. That's actually what I did a lot, is I'd fling down Museum Activate Effect, and it'd get hit with Ogre, Ash, you name it, and then I'd just combo normally, because I didn't have to have fear of those cards. And then for each of these spells, we're playing 1 Almus, 1 Durandal, 1 Joyous, and then triple Heritage of the Chalice. So for those who aren't aware, so Heritage of the Chalice searches out literally any of your Noble Knights and your Durandal. And that's something else to note with, outside of these 4 cards here, all these cards are searchable by Durandal, which Durandal is searchable by Heritage of the Chalice and Museum. So you're playing multiple copies of all of these cards, or all of your Fire Warriors. That way, there's no confliction. There's no like, oh man, if I, Beckon's going to cause me to brick, or opening Poplar and stuff like that. Even though Poplar has synergy with like Stake Your Soul and stuff like that. This is it. These are all your copies of additional names as well. 3 of this. So you have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Plus Reinforcing Army is 9. You play in technically 10 copies of all the 1-of names that you need to have access to. And I think that's insane. It's huge. And yeah, that's pretty crazy to even think about. Moving on, we're on to 3 Stake Your Soul. 3 Stake Your Soul. I do intend to do a combo video showcasing you guys Stake Your Soul plus Ogier. and just stake your soul, the application to stake your soul and stuff like that in a combo video. Hopefully I'll work it on this like week and stuff like that. But stake your soul is insane. You reveal any fire warrior, which of course, or any fire, which is your entire deck now. There's no chances of you not seeing your monster and it not being fire, unless you go into like post side, and you get to summon out Raisin, and then you can use any of these cards here to pretty much get access to your Renault or to your Oliver and stuff like that. And this card will always be live because once you use Raisin, Malgus can shuffle it back, and then if you open 2 or you draw another, you just put another fire and summon him back out from the deck. So that's a cool thing that you have this engine has in comparison to like your old school 3 E-Telly and then 1 psychic target, is that your E-Tellys are not going to be dead, or your E-Tellys will be dead, whereas Stake Your Soul will not be dead, right? Because you're going to be able to shuffle back the target and keep them live. It does suck when you see multiple Stake Your Souls. That's probably the worst thing ever, but I guess even in Vanquish Soul, which this engine is like taken from, you never want to see 2 Stake Your Souls anyway. So it's just one of those things where it's like, it's the downside of playing playing it. But moving on, here is triple droplets. Droplets I play because I feel like it is the best card going first because it's settable, and it's a great card going second. It's a fantastic top deck, and it just allows you to stop cards like Sanctifier and all that stuff in Brandon matchups and everything like that. Also, it really works really well with the crossout that I'm playing because, again, since I have post-sided Roland and Angelica's Angel Ring, if you guys didn't notice it, it wasn't in the equip section of the deck profile. It just was like, this card would always be ripped off the top, and this was like the most prominent played board breaker that everyone was maining, so it just worked very well with crossout Designator to, you'd just be able to, as long as they didn't send a spell right, you'd be able to like stop it, which was pretty cool. And then move on to triple tactics and 1 call by. We want to go first. This is how I view this deck as a going first deck, but I've definitely changed my opinions on talents, as I used to primarily believe this card was a going first card. In this strategy, I know it has applications going second, but that's just how I viewed it for siding patterns. But after the change, this card stays in because it is a board breaker, potentially going second, allowing you to either steal a monster or draw into potential more breakers. So this card stays in all the time now. And then for the card that I feel like I was slow getting to, but definitely performed or outperformed during the original fights, was Crossout Designator. This card just allows you to check one of the most prominent hand traps. Like I said, if we're looking at what's being played, Ash and Imperm are almost in everybody's deck, and Forbidden Droplets are a hit or miss, you know what I mean? But for most cases, at the worst case, Tactics is being played too. So Crossout Designator has the ability to hit all these like kind of like sacky blowout cards and the hand traps. Now, given I'm not like, you can't account for all the hand traps, and that's what I made the issue of always doing, was trying to strategically play out my combo lines, counting for, all right, if he Ash, Imperm, Valor's here, I can pivot in this way, and then I'd get hit by like Mourner, or I'd get hit by like Ogre, and it's just too many hand traps. So like these 6 cards just allow you to pretty much like have like 1 free unaccountability essentially. If my hand beats if my hand beats like Imperm Ash, or like Ash or something like that, or my hand loses to a single Ash but beats Imperm, Designator just checks that unpredictable variable that the opponent probably opens up, right? So that's about it. So I think these are main deck, and these cards come out when going second, because I'm not trying to cross out anything when going second. So like it's a really good side out thing to put this out and bring in evenlies, and then yeah, things like that. You can potentially side in one of, and then like the side deck accumulates, so especially when I know that I'm going first, other hand traps and everything like that. Moving on to the 1 of spells, 1 Rhoda, 1 for 1, and 1 OSS. Sadly, as much as I'm biased to this card is probably one of the few cards that'll go on the ban list, it's going to be bittersweet. I'm going to be extremely happy to see Snake Eyes just, hopefully Konami answers Snake Eyes and just obliterates that deck. That deck has like no restriction. I think that's kind of crazy too. Small 20-second rant is that you have all these good decks that come out here, but they're all limiting in some way. They restrict you to only summoning like their own particular type, like Warriors, Fiends, stuff like that, Dark, everything that locks you, and it makes decks fair. And then like Snake Eyes has none of that. Snake Eyes and Fiendsmith don't have any of it, and I think it's just insane that Konami would print certain strategies to have limitations like that, and then do this like with Snake Eyes, but not give them any limitation. Just poor card design and poor like stuff from Konami. But anyway, enough of that. So this card will probably pay, along with hopefully some other things, for Snake Eyes Sins. And in that case, if we lose this, essentially I count this as another copy of 1 for 1. And before we get in further on the Wanted package, I know people can be like, why didn't you play Wanted? I didn't want to, it's not too expensive, I didn't want to pay for it. And I've always believed since the excursion of the Wanted is it was not necessary for the deck. It required some pretty powerful and some pretty good plays, especially the best thing about it is probably the draw you get off of Wanted and the OSS. But the issue that I had with it was that OSS would only summon out Ricciardetto and unless you're playing the Snake Eyes stuff, and at which points if you're going to play the Popular, might as well just play Snake Eyes. But Popular, in my opinion, you would just summon out Ricciardetto, and it was only good if you had a level 4 in your grave. And most cases, you only play so many level 4s. Like most, you play a lot of them, but you play only so many that you're not likely going to open up to them. And then that's assuming your opponent doesn't hit any of your searchers to get to one with a hand trap. And if they don't ash your search for the level 4, they're definitely going to ash the OSS, and you're still just losing right there. So moving on, the 3 Imperms. And we'll move on to the extra deck here. The extra deck, there's definitely 2 cards that came out since I'm not playing the IT package because of seeing Beckon and always the World Chalice, the World Legacy World Chalice, or whatever it is. World Legacy Succession, excuse me. So there's definitely 2 flex spots that could potentially be an additional Charles, which I think could be, and it could also be an additional SP if you wanted to go spend like $100 for it. But this worked fairly well for what I'm doing and what I had going on. So don't take this like with gospel. Just know that there's like some flexibility depending on what you want to play. 2 Charles, 2 Emperor Charles the Great, 1 Angelico, 1 Captain Roland, and 1 Charles. This is it for the Nobles. We do miss Isolde deeply, and maybe one day Konami's favor will shine on us yet again, and we will get Isolde back to us. Until then, moving on to links, 1 Enema, 1 Link Spider, 1 Ferocious Flame Swordsman. This could definitely be your second SP, but this card has a lot of cool applications with it in the sense that it boosts even if you end on it along with SP. Your SP is coming out at 2100, and it's big. They can't just whack over SP then. And then if this card is destroyed, it allows you to reborn back out either your OG Charles or allows you to reborn back out Gearfried if it's in your graveyard, which is really cool. Hida, the Charmer Blaze, when you get ashed, you just punish them by being able to make this, bring it out, go into Princess, and do like, and make Amblowell almost for free in a way, and that's where like Raisin really shines, because like Raisin plus like an extender, whether it be Turpin, Flint Lady, etc., whatever searchable extender you have, you can like make Hida bring out and go into things like your Ferocious Flame Swordsman if you wanted to, or go into Amblowell and then normal summon, and then like you have Princess already there, and you do some crazy stuff that way. 1 SP Little Knight, this card's insane. In fact, like I kind of was thinking on the 17-hour car ride that one day this card's going to get answered and it's going to leave a void in a lot of decks. And it's going to leave a void especially in this deck because like it's a warrior and we get warrior locked. So like we're going to like if Konami ever decides to answer this card or like does something with this card, we're going to feel it. 1 Promethean Princess. Since we're not playing like the IB line as much, this card does not come up as often, but it is there to be able to make, and into those following turns, you're able to use it to bring back like Charles and link it into a second Charles, link it into the Link 1 Charles, or bring back Gearfried, and you're able to do that type of stuff. And that's why we're also playing Ferocious Flame Swordsman, is so that you could potentially turn this into this if you wanted to, if you're looking for attack boost. You don't have to play Amblowell, which is right here. This is just a 100% extra flex spot until I can figure out like something better. Arguably, this could be Baguska. I'm not going to lie. This right here could be Baguska, and it probably will be it as soon as I'm done with this video, simply because you get shifted or drolled. At least you can like normal summon Uppercutter, add Spar, shifter, droll, make Baguska pass, and just hold the line that way. So you're not wasting resources trying to play into or play under or through those cards. 1 Appaloosa, it doesn't come up at all. So again, probably another flex spot that you could potentially cut or play something else, but there's just like not a lot of things like you could potentially play per se. But 1 Laval X-Lord. So this card has been bouncing back and forth. People are like, it's an 8, it's useless. But with the introduction of cards like the Stake Your Soul package, you're able to get a free level 4, so then you're able to make this a little bit easier. Again, it's probably super flex, you don't have to do it, but it is. I do enjoy being able to end it on a board, like a diverse end board. So sometimes you can make this pretty easy, especially if you have multi-museums to be able to move up like Oliver, and then you special out a level 4 extender, whether it be Turpin, Raisin, etc., then you make it. It's pretty cool. And then Dempsey, which I believe Dempsey is probably the closest thing to the new Isolde that we got. This card's insane that in our like 2023, whenever this card came out in the time of our Lord and Savior, that this card like allows you to protect Battle Boxers but doesn't like protect itself. Like once this card's already targeted by an effect, you can't like make it untargeted. So you'd think like Konami would have like preemptively thought like, hey, let's make this card's effect not be like written like that, and just say Battle Boxers you control are unaffected by card or your opponents. You know, like especially since you see like things like Tempai, Ancient Gear have a card that just don't allow you to have interaction. Like why wouldn't like they do something close to that with Dempsey? Instead they're like, oh, Dempsey's just going to lose to an Impermer Veiler, but for the rest of the turn, your other Battle Boxers can't be targeted. It's just poor card design in my opinion. But anyway, enough of that ranting. This card literally does a lot despite its flaws. It adds or sins, which allows you to play under Droll. And the nib token, I only got nibbed, I think, I didn't get nibbed once. I got attempted to be nibbed twice, and both times I had the ability to do the anti-nib line, which is Ogier plus Renault, and of course you play 10 copies of each, so you have the ability to get to that consistently. And yeah, so I'm going to quickly run through my side deck real quick. Like I said, I'm not trying to keep you guys here for 30 minutes. I'm going to try and do like a combo video showcasing like the Raisin and the Stake Your Soul stuff and everything like that, so that you guys can like see what I'm talking about. But moving on, here we go for the side deck. 3 Fenrir and 1 Rise Heart. This right here was 100% part of when I know I'm going second. the battle box stuff come out, because I'm not trying to lose in time because I can't conduct my battle phase because of spar. Triple evenly match. Evenly matches evenly match. It makes less, does no explanation. Cool thing though, post side deck, if you're scared to evenly match, you can 100% incorporate it into like your non-engine spots and play it with crossout so you're not getting hit. One Valor, one Nibiru, again, crossout targets when I'm going into that all-important game 3 and I'm siding, these are coming in. Arguably, Effect Valor is probably like the flex thing. Maybe this is going to sound crazy, but maybe you just play 2 Nib, so that way you have like more going second cards, but also that way that if you open Nib, you can check it. Effect Valor is like one of those things where it's like it's not being played in every deck, but it's being played in some. But again, I'm still just testing and everything like that. Triple Droll, it's a Droll format. You want to Droll things. Again, post side, you can incorporate in one Droll. Like you have 3, 6, 9, 12, 3 Ash, 3 Imperm, 3 Droplet, the Triple T, and the Called By. So you have 12 non-engine spots to work with the crossout, so then you can like fill that how you see fit. Moving on, we are on to the Double Cyclone. I didn't want to lose to Skill Drain, but I sadly didn't get Skill Drain. My skill did not get sucked out of me once, which is nice. And then Angelic Ring and Roland, you'd put these in when you know you're going second, so you can stop the board breakers like Droplets and or Dark Ruler, Super Poly, and stuff like that. So it was pretty cool. And this is like really consistent and stuff like that as well, but... anyway, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. This is Charles from Team COG. If you guys have any comments, concerns, go ahead down below, ask questions, let me know. If you guys were at Nationals, I hope you have a safe trip, safe journey. It was a pleasure to meet you all. And without further ado, you guys stay safe, stay healthy. This is Charles from Team COG, signing out.